button. Push the goddamn button.
Story time. I was at a high school and there was a female student there with a tube top on and some shorts so short you can basically see her butt crack. I then looked at the male teacher, who happened to be an older black man, and said, "Do you guys not have a dress code? There's not enough administrators to really enforce it." I said, "Well, why don't the teachers enforce it?" He said, "Ma'am, let me tell you something." Goes on to say to me, "Ma'am, I'm a few years from retirement and I don't need no problems. And the last thing I need is a report coming my way from a student counselor after I tell a little girl to cover up and she tries to make it seem like I'm being a pervert. You know what? Why don't you call her mother?" And he says, "Ma'am, with all due respect, only thing that's going to happen if I call that girl's mother is a larger version of her is going to come up here, dressed the same, with the same level of maturity and the same disposition, yelling at me saying I'm looking at her daughter." Oh, and that's not all. I know a male driver trainer that ended up training a female driver, and when he did not give her the green light, she went in there and told them folks he failed her because she wouldn't sleep with him. She couldn't bag up. And then when they asked her to bag up, because it's like about 80% of the job, guess what the heifer couldn't do? That's not all. I know of a man that was in management, and there was an employee who had been written up several times due to altering her uniform to fit tighter, claimed that she hurt her arm. And she went to this said manager, as most employees do when they claim that they are hurt, and he looked at her arm and touched her arm. And he was then written up to HR for inappropriate touch by this said employee, who was almost out the door and being fired due to altering her uniform. One thing I can say, if women continue to weaponize their sexuality in this way in the West, you're going to see politicians and officials put forth policies to incentivize the removal of women in many sectors in the workforce.
Shout outs to this young lady, man, for dropping that clip off in that story time. We don't have an issue with independence. We have an issue with this disconnect, this lack of concern or consideration while obtaining your freedom or your self-sense of individuality. It comes with a certain level of responsibility and power that gets manipulated in the wrong ways, if you know what I mean. It's almost like putting $1 million in the hands of a 5-year-old and expecting them not to give the cashier the entire paycheck because they wanted a lollipop or some annihilators, and they think that equates to the check that they just gave, because to them it's everything in the world. So they don't know what to do with themselves. They just know that they got some money in their ass. But they don't understand, like, you want to be treated with respect, but you don't dress for the occasion. You complain about emotional stability, but you use it irresponsibly. Prime example. In every clip, scenario / story that she presented, every woman used a lack of discipline, control, or emotional regulatory structure, if those are nice words to piece together. None of that was utilized to arbitrate a example of, I got this. He ain't do anything to me at all. This is just a misunderstanding, or I just felt a certain type of way, and let me stop myself before I feel personally attacked and I misconstrue what's going on in here with what's going on up here, because what's going up here knows that this isn't what I made it out to be, but down here I have to and so dudes get locked up, get killed, get misidentified to be something that they weren't. They lose their careers and everything else because we can't say nothing to you. That's all this really come down to. Is you saying we can't say nothing to you, even though you want this, that, and the third. Anything that challenges your ability to move as freely as your flesh demands, because you live more for your flesh than you do anything else. That's when you feel attacked. And if you feel attacked, knowing that it's probably not that, you just misinterpreted to be that, here we are. So I can see clearly why a man would weigh his options, identify what's in front of him, and decide whether or not he wants to engage or take his business elsewhere. You want this? Cool. Don't call me for protection. Don't call me for advice when somebody go upside your head, or it's a situation where you need your battery or your tire changed or some shit like that. Don't hit me up. Don't, because you're gonna play the victim and turn this against me, and then I'm gonna be at fault for something that never happened. Y'all be making up some of the most ridiculous bullshit in your head that don't even exist. That we was talking about one thing, you turned it into something else. And here we are. But you do what you will with it. You ain't gotta listen to me, but you know what I'm talking about. This conversation will never go away. You heard it out of her mouth. It's going to be a point to where, hey, if you really feel this way towards men, then you can work with all women and see how far that goes. Where men just would rather work with men, where the system and the hierarchy doesn't impede on any type of environmental destruction. Everything is balanced and organized, and y'all can have all your estrogen, all your ego and your pride. Y'all can see how that fit under one roof. You can't play the sex card amongst each other and say, oh, it was sexual harassment. I wonder how that conversation is going to go. Unnecessary. I understand. I understand why it's better to be in the corner of the roof of a house than to be in the house with a quarrelsome woman, something like that. But I digress. Now tell me what y'all think in the comments.